Hello, welcome to Svtv News. I am Samira Ibrahim with today's bulletin, but first the major headlines. Governor Matawali imposes 24-hour curfew. Persons with disabilities in Zamfara State have been assured of greater opportunities. Miners trial resumes in Abuja. On business, Naira's exchange rate creates rules for businesses. On sports, postponed Tokyo Olympics to cost extra $2.4 billion. And on the international scene, WHO considers e-certificate for COVID-19 vaccination. Now the news in details. The police in Zamfara State has announced the immediate cancellation of by-election campaigns in Bakura local government area following a uprising that led to the death of 2 persons. Briefing journalists at the Bakura Police Divisional Office, Assistant Inspector General of Police Muhammad A. Mustafa said there were uneasy camp following clash between supporters of some political parties that led to the killing of 2. In order to prevent further killings and the unwanted cause of other damages, the police immediately directed all the contending political parties to stop the ongoing by-election campaigns for the sake of peace to continue to reign. For more details on the story, Shehu Magaji reports.
Governor Bello Muhammad Matawali imposed 24 hours curfew in Bakura and Talata Mapara local government areas aimed at providing enabling environment for security agencies to restore normalcy. Following what was happening in Bakura and Talata Mapara local government areas, where unpatriotic politicians have taken advantage of the scheduled political rallies ahead of 5 December by-election. The state government cannot fold its arms, watching uninterrupted breath of criminal activities. The governor expressed his administration's concern to announce to the good people in Bakura and Talata Mapara local government areas to remain indoor 24 hours, as the order was absolutely meant to protect their lives, property and their dignity. It would be recalled that INEC had slated 5 of December as by-election day for interested political parties and were constitutionally allowed to legitimately run their campaign rallies 24 hours before the election day. But in spite of the banning order, former Governor Yari conducted the campaign rally in Bakura. That has been the report. Shehu Magaji reporting for SBTV News.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 10, Headquarters Sokoto, AIG Muhammad A. Mustafa, announced the death of 2 persons during the campaign rally at Bakura town. The AIG made the disclosure during a media briefing at the Bakura police station shortly after he met the supporters of the 2 major political parties, APC and PDP. For more details on the story, over to our correspondent, Peter Phillips.
According to him, 1 person was killed on Wednesday and another killed on Thursday, saying there are strong indications that more crises would be ignited if the political rallies are allowed to go on. Meanwhile, the Zamfara State Governor, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawali, has accused the Minister of Police Affairs, Alhaji Maigari Dingyadi, and former Zamfara State Governor, Abdulaziz Yari, of sponsoring political talks who launched barbaric attack on members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Bakura town.
It was unfortunate a former governor, Abdulaziz Yari, to come with a Minister of Police Affairs, the whole Minister of Police, to come for a campaign rally, and some prominent APC members from Abuja to come to Bakura to campaign for him for the seat of State Assembly, which lives were lost. They slaughtered 2 people, but one Sani Muhammad and one other, and burned down some shops in Bakura.
The alleged attack led to death of 2 PDP supporters during campaign for State Assembly by-elections for Bakura slated for this Saturday. The governor stated this at a press conference Thursday night shortly after he returned from Bakura town. Governor Matawale further called on President Muhammadu Buhari to call the minister and former Governor Yari to order. That's the report. Peter Phillips, SVTV News, Gusau.
The Inspector General of Police, M.A. Adamu, has directed immediate investigations into a suit purportedly challenging the legality of the State Judicial Panel of Inquiry, investigating allegations by citizens against officers of the defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SAS. The AGP, who gave the order on the heels of trending reports in the media, expressed the disapproval of the force management team on the matter and ordered investigations into the alleged role of the force legal action, including its head. Meanwhile, the force legal officer has been queried and may face further sanctions if found guilty of dereliction of duty. The IGP reiterates the commitment of the force to fulfilling all its obligations with regard to the disbandment of the defunct SAS, the ongoing judicial panels, and all other police reforms. As the world marks the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, Zamfara State First Lady Haji Aisha Bello Muhammad Matawale has assured persons with disability of greater opportunity in the state. The First Lady gave the assurance when she received the Zamfara State chapter of the Persons Living with Disabilities, who conducted road march to the Government House, Gusau, to celebrate the International Day of Persons with Disabilities in the state. For more details on the story, over on to our correspondent, Sumaya Dusara.
The governor's wife, represented by the Commissioner for Women and Children Affairs, Hajia Zainab Lawal Gumi, as part of the 16 days activism, said the governor, Bello Muhammad Matawale's lead administration, will continue to account top priorities to the issues of persons living with disability to give them a sense of belonging in the state. The office of the First Lady has approved the enrollment of some of the fiscal challenged women to be included in the ongoing Svtv empowerment program, and also approve other special skills acquisition programs for women living with disabilities to empower them financially and reduce their dependence on others. Hajia Aisha also promised to work with them in eliminating violence, stigmatization, and all sorts of abuse against women living with disability. She said more will be done for the women in the state as they are the most vulnerable to abuse due to their condition. Sumaya Dose reporting for SBTV News, Gusau.
Former Governor of Sokoto State, Alhaji Attahiru Bafarawa Garkuwan Sokoto, has held a special meeting with the Speaker, House of National Assembly, Femi Bajabiamila, at his office in Abuja to discuss security issues and demand compensation for the victims of genocide and kidnappings affected in northern Nigeria. We also seek urgent solutions to the security challenges facing the north, with participation for all the stakeholders in the country. The former governor told the Speaker that it was time to take action to provide relief to the affected communities and to bring about a speedy recovery. For more details on the story, Rahama Ibrahim Dosara reports.
Alhaji Attahiru Bafarawa handed over to the Speaker of the House a number of documents containing the names and assets of others who have lost their lives as a result of various attacks and massacres in northern Nigeria. In his remarks, the Speaker Femi Bajabiamila lauded the former governor for his hard work and dedication in compiling hardline information on those who have faced hardships or lost loved ones. He said he would look into the needs of the Bafara Foundation and those involved in advocacy to take appropriate action. The Speaker thanked Bafarawa for the visit and assured him and his team of continued cooperation to move the country forward. That has been the report. Rahma Ibrahim Dusar reporting for SVTV News.
The Senate has summoned Minister of Health Dr. Osagi Ehaniri and Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 Mr. Bas Mustafa to brief its committees on health and primary health care on modalities the federal government will adopt to procure and administer COVID-19 vaccines on the citizens. Also to appear before the Senate committees are Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, Dr. Chukwe Ehukwezu, Director General of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, and the Chief Executives of other relevant government agencies. For more details on the story, over now to our correspondent, Musa Joy.
The upper chamber gave the directive following a motion titled Urgent Need for Nigeria to Obtain and Administer COVID-19 Vaccine to its citizens, sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Yahaya from Kwara Central. The prayers of the motion, which were approved by the Senate, include the Senate to invite the above-mentioned ministries and agencies to present to it detailed plan, approval, protocol, funding, procurement, administration, and monitoring of COVID-19 vaccine in Nigeria. The upper chamber urged the federal government to provide adequate funds for the procurement and administration of COVID-19 vaccines to Nigerians. It further directed the committees in health and primary health care to report back to the Senate in 2 weeks. Musa Joy Onyeyoda, Svtv News, Gusau.
The trial of the former chairman of the defunct Pension Reform Tax Team, PRTT, Abdulrashid Maina, has resumed in Abuja. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, ensured Maina was in the court, having been extradited to Nigeria from the Niger Republic by the Interpol. Mr. Maina, who jumped bail before his arrest in Niamey, Niger, is standing trial for alleged money laundering to the tune of 2 billion naira. Let me quickly take you to our business desk for the business update.
Welcome to Business Desk. The unstable nature of the Naira is a very troubling development for key industry players and will continue to shape and reshape the direction of the nation's economy and businesses. The exchange rate of the Naira vis-a-vis other foreign currencies, especially the US dollar, has and remains a source of concern to the Central Bank of Nigeria and the business community, typified by the organized private sector and others at large. The Naira-dollar exchange rate and the government policies to address the issue has a long history behind it. The Naira was resilient and enduring, one that held sway in the early 1970s and early 80s. It stood shoulder to shoulder in parity with the British pound sterling, and it was stronger in value than the US greenback until the mid-1980s. There was a time you needed less than a naira, in fact 85 kobo, to obtain a dollar, but those days are far gone. In 1986, during the Structural Adjustment Program era, Nigeria devalued the naira by 100%. That singular action dropped the naira by such a wide margin, and that marked the beginning of the Naira's slippery journey to its present unstable exchange rate status we are experiencing today. And that's all on Standard Voice Business Update. I am Musa Joy Onyeyoda. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Musa Joy. On spot, over to Sumaya Dusara.
Hello, I'm Sumaya Dosra and welcome to Spot Dex. The coronavirus delayed Tokyo Olympics will cost at least an extra $2.4 billion, organizers said Friday, with the unprecedented postponement and a raft of pandemic health measures ballooning an already controversial budget. Tokyo 2020 said an additional $1.5 billion will be needed for operational costs related to the delay, with another $900 million in spending on virus control measures for the Games next year. And that's all on Spot. Back to the newsroom.
And on the international scene, the World Health Organization said it was considering introducing electronic vaccination certificates as hopes for an end to COVID-19 were boosted after Britain became the first country to approve use of the COVID-19 vaccine. WHO Europe expert Svtv Data told an online press briefing Thursday. Introducing such a certificate, which will make it possible to identify and monitor people who have been vaccinated, has not been penalized and will have to be drawn up in accordance with national laws. It will not be an immunity passport, which is supposed to assure that its carrier is protected against the disease because they have been infected and recovered. The WHO Senior Emergency Officer for Europe, Kathleen Smallwood, said they do not recommend immunity passports. Still on the international news, the United Nations has said that the security challenges in West Africa and the Sahel caused by the bloodletting activities of Boko Haram terrorists and the Islamic State West Africa province were made worse by the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the global organization, the rising spate of violent attacks since the COVID-19 pandemic broke out early this year was an indication that the disease had no negative effect on activities of the terrorists in Nigeria and other countries in West Africa and the Sahel. The special representative of the UN Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel, Dr. Mohammed Bin Chambers, stated this at the National Institute for Security Studies, Abuja, on Thursday. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Governor Matawale imposes 24-hour curfew. You have heard that persons with disabilities in Zamfara State have been assured of greater opportunities. Miners' trial resumes in Abuja. On business, Naira's exchange rate creates woes for businesses. On sports, you have also heard that postponed Tokyo Olympics to cost extra $2.4 billion. And on the international scene, WHO considers e-certificate for COVID-19 vaccination. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Ibrahim Garbatuno, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.